Bye. So, this is going to be about rape culture in the media, specifically movies that we grew up watching or watching now, TV shows, not going to name names. So, rape culture, definition.
So rape culture is essentially a society or environment that has normalized and trivialized sexual assault, sexual violence, sexual harassment, anything of that aspect, and made it something that is just expected to happen.
Has normalized it in our society.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're gonna start off with a bang. I feel as though it is the conversation. Walt, I have a bone to pick with you. We're gonna start off with our favorite, Beauty and the Beast.
Oh God.
Because here's the thing, everybody talks about Aurora, Sleeping Beauty. We obviously know that that is an issue. Non-consenting kiss, true love's kiss, whatever you may want to call it. However, Beauty and the Beast, kidnapping,
Okay.
harassment.
To be fair, that is strange as a bad thing. But like
Wait.
the whole kidnapping thing is a bit of a problem for Belle. To be fair. She does have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
This
It's
is
honestly,
fun.
Beauty and the Beast is so interesting almost because you have Gaston who like very
Oh,
much
yeah.
is portrayed as the bad guy
Yes.
who actually does harass her
Yes.
and keeps almost not even forcing himself on her because that's a Disney movie, so not literally, but he keeps
But he
harassing her
does-
and bothering her.
And he
Yeah.
physically blocks her with his body a few times.
Yeah.
And she has to keep going around him. So
Yes.
Yeah, that's obviously an issue. Part of rape culture, it's because no one in the town sees that as an issue. They're like, you should be lucky to get this attention from him. No one sees that as a problem. So obviously that kind of makes sense for Disney to play that card because, you know, he's the villain. Why would we care? He's supposed to do this and then be beat. But then the Beast, who is the protagonist, her love interest, they end up together. She saves him, kidnaps her dad, takes him prisoner, and then basically blackmails Belle into staying with him.
Yep.
And is like, otherwise I'm going to kill your father.
This is the start of an amazing love story. So, I have a clip for you all to enjoy. This
She's been
is,
locked up.
yep, after she's been locked up and she refuses to go to dinner.
Oh yeah, and everyone's like, give him a chance.
Here she is. Good evening. Well, where is she? The girl. Yes, the girl. Well, actually, she's in the process of circumstances being what they are. She's not coming. What? Your Grace! Your Eminence!
I thought I told you to come down to dinner.
I'm not hungry.
You'll come out or I'll break down the door.
Master, I could be wrong, but that may not be the best way to win the girl's affections. Please, attempt to be a gentleman.
But she is being so difficult.
Gently, gently.
Will you come down to dinner?
No.
Suave, genteel.
It would give me great pleasure if you would join me for dinner.
We say please.
Please.
No, thank you.
You can't stay in there forever.
Yes, I can.
Fine. Then go ahead and starve! If she doesn't eat with me, then she doesn't eat at all.
Okay, so the word no in this specific situation is deemed for the Beast as irritating and being difficult. Being a
Yes.
difficult woman is saying no to something that she does not agree with.
It's almost like the implied, like, not backstory, but the implied action of that is supposed to be the fact that he was Gentile about it. The fact that he added the cliche.
He had to
that he was
be
a
like,
gentleman
yeah.
by asking her is that,
and that therefore he deserved something.
yeah, that she should be like, oh my gosh, I would love to join you for dinner. Even
Yeah.
though he should be okay with her saying no. But he's obviously not.
The whole, I demand you do this. Fine, I'll ask nicely. Now you have to do it because I asked you nicely. I was a nice guy.
Yeah, it's the whole nice guy thing.
You almost go to think, oh my gosh, like maybe this isn't helping to perpetuate rape culture. But when you think on what happens later in the movie, this is how he starts off his behavior with her, and the whole idea kind of is that she like changes him, but he still treats her that way.
He still treats her like crap. Well, it's the thing is, like, maybe we can fix him. Maybe, you know, he can change for us. The thing is that shouldn't even be a conversation.
Like, you know what I mean? So right now he's treating her like this. So even though the whole idea is almost that, you know, he has character growth, he changes. I think it still sends the message of, if you're in a relationship, like if you're watching this when you're a child, obviously I like Disney movies too. I like Disney movies, you know, they're nice to watch, and they honestly do make you kind of, oh my gosh, it's love kind of feel. Message of, if you're in a relationship and this is how it starts out, you don't go away from it. You don't leave the relationship. You can change it.
I feel like you have to definitely have this conversation if you're watching it with a kid. You have to be like, so hey, what do you think of how the beast acted? Like, should he have done that? If somebody did that to you, what would you do?
I think that's the main point to drive home about this is, like, you can still enjoy the movie. We're not telling you to hate watching Disney movies, because some of them have just aspects of, you know, rape culture, but it's the idea that, like, yeah, make sure you're kind of aware of the fact that, like, if this is a real life situation and let's say he's just another guy you're getting into a relationship with, don't stay because you think he'll change for you or you can change him.
Bad boy.
It kind of, like I said, that's the aspect
Which I
of
feel
rape
like media
culture
Oh,
does romanticize the whole
The bad boy, good girl thing?
Yeah.
Do you know how many stories?
Yeah.
Next movie, I'm sure we all know, I'm sure we all haven't loved. However, it's very popular. This is Twilight. So this is from the first movie, which came out in 2008. As the movies went on, I would say Edward got a little less creepy. However, he's still very stalkery in this movie.
Yes.
So this is kind of going upon how, you know, he cares about me. He really cares about me, so therefore, he's gonna stalk me.
Yeah.
He's going to do everything in his power to be with me. No.
You can't even use the argument,
He's a vampire.
That
He
shouldn't
doesn't
matter.
sleep.
This had girls going, I want an Edward in my life. Well, obviously, vampires aren't real, but you know what I mean? So obviously, if people say, oh, I want an Edward in my life, they're saying, I want a guy who acts like this.
So he's virtually obsessed with Bella in these movies. Stalking, the obsession is incredibly romanticized in this, you know, movie series. So this is their first kiss, and he comes through her window as she's on the phone call.
Can I talk to you later? Come on, we gotta talk boys. Are you being safe? How did you get in here?
Love the acting.
The window?
Do you do that a lot?
Well, just the past couple of months. I like watching you sleep. It's,
I'm sorry.
it's kind of fascinating to me.
It's fascinating.
I just want to try one thing. Just stay very still. Don't move.
I think we're done.
I like watching you sleep.
Only the last couple months.
Yes,
Yes,
me.
Oh, that makes it all okay. You've only been talking to me a few
Stalker.
months.
And then she obviously finds this, like, attractive because she kisses him. She lets him kiss her.
No, yeah.
She doesn't do it.
By the way, it's don't move, stay still. I'm gonna try something. I'm
Doesn't
doing
ask for
this.
consent.
No
Doesn't-
consent.
Like, not, can I kiss you?
Exactly.
Which,
That's what you need. Yeah. Consent.
It's
Can I kiss
stay
you?
still, let me do this.
And again, people, when this came out, you know, it was Team Edward versus Jacob, but people found this so hot.
Appealing,
Girls wanted
yeah.
this. Girls found this so appealing in a guy, and they're like, oh my gosh, I want me and Edward. But I'm like, looking back, this is such problematic behavior. Why would you want a partner who would do this to you? Again, like, perpetuation of rape culture. This should not be normalized.
No.
This kind of reminds me of another kind of more modern movie. I don't know if you've seen it. I think Chloe's.
Which one?
365 Days. I'm sure you've at least heard of it.
Unfortunately, my
That
roommates
scene. That scene.
have watched it, and I have been unwillingly held hostage.
So, 365 days. Guy is random dude, by the way.
Mafia, right?
Mafia dude. Yes.
Bad boy.
Yeah, bad
Oh,
boy.
bad boy.
Bad boy. Obsessed with this girl because of seeing her one time on the beach, right? Finds her, stalks her, kidnaps her, gives her 365 days of being kidnapped to fall in love with him.
Oh wait, I think it's better. It's a take on basically 50 Shades of Grey, but like more explicit because it wasn't an American made film.
Yeah.
So it's the whole relationship of him dominating her, but also like sexually, obviously.
Yeah.
So a lot of restraining, a lot of like choking, a lot of
straining, a lot
and
of
kind of doing things without her explicit consent, and it was basically seen as being like this hot relationship that they sexual relationship that they have, and I mean that's just so problematic because that is not, he didn't have consent to do this. He kidnaps her and then does this to her.
just does it.
And in the end, she does stay with him. She falls in love with him.
Location change, it's fine. Okay. Next is, a classic, I feel, on Netflix, Grown Ups.
Oh, grown-ups.
Oh, Grown Ups. This is the car scene where, first of all, one of the guy's daughters shows up. So this is the daughter of one of the guys. She is of age. However, they all also have wives. So here it is.
Oh, okay.
I hope that car never gets fixed.
That's an auspicious
I don't think it
start.
will. I took the spark plugs out. Nice.
And we're all looking at the same time. Let's
Oh,
at least
what do we
take
do?
shifts.
All right. Yeah, good
Line us
idea.
off. You and
Yes.
me look at the tree.
Mackenzie, we're gonna look at her butt for a little bit, okay?
Okay.
All right. Good plan.
And shift.
Shift. Shift.
Shift.
Hmm.
And shift.
What are we doing?
Wait, are we all looking at the tree right now?
Yeah, let's go back to the. Hey, Jasmine. This is Gloria. Gloria, it's Jasmine.
So that was that.
It's just
So they were just all taking turns, just staring at her
Ogling.
ass. Openly staring at her ass when they all have
When
wives.
they all have wives.
And shouldn't be
And-
looking at any sort of female like that, much less making it a game.
she's supposedly fixing the car, but like they sabotaged the car, so it's
So they
Yeah.
can purposely keep like ogling
Staring at
her.
her. Yeah.
Which like, I mean, it's not
Can
obviously
we say
physical.
objectification?
Yeah,
that is
objectification,
for
not
sure
Can we
objectification.
say
harassment.
harassment?
basically. Yeah.
Of
And-
one of their friends' daughters?
You know what I think is?
Oh my god, that's their that's a
That's their friend?
It's just
That's his daughter.
so it's
that
the,
made that 10 times worse.
Yep.
I don't know why I didn't register
and like
that.
it's the knowledge that they do this, but I think what makes this clip so dangerous is that they purposely make it comedic. Like we both laughed because like we
Yeah.
were like, oh my gosh, are we all looking at the tree? Because like, it makes you want to laugh. But then when you
it's
laugh at
completely
that,
normalized.
Yeah, when you
at
laugh
that
at
point. Like,
that-
this scene didn't surprise me whatsoever,
Yeah.
but looking at it from the point of view that we're perpetuating,
mm-hmm.
it's awful. But nobody thinks about it like that anymore.
almost like disarming you into like
Yeah.
being like, oh yeah, that was so funny.
It's-
like they weren't
we're
looking at
trained.
her.
no big deal.
We're
no
trained.
one was looking at her ass. They were all looking at the tree, but like not focusing on the like that's the funny part, that they were looking at the tree, not the horrifying part that they were all staring at this friend's daughter's ass
Yeah.
while they all have wives.
Yep.
And she's probably like many years younger than them.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's just,
She has to be like 19, 20.
and again, do you know how many guy friends or guys that I've known who have said like that they love this movie, that
Yeah.
it is the best movie ever,
It's
that
geared
it is so great.
towards guys
Yeah.
at this, you know?
It
like,
really
it
is.
really is geared towards men.
And again, it makes you think, oh my gosh, I can do this in real life. This is allowed.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler can do this. I can do this.
Adam Sandler can do
That's
this.
what it says.
Just because she wore that outfit does not mean that she intended them to
Exactly.
do that. Like,
Yeah.
from dudes. I actually legitimately hear that
Oh,
if
it's
they're
so
like
bad.
at a party or whatever and they're staring at a girl, like her boobs or her ass or whatever, they're like, well, she wouldn't have worn that. She didn't want me to look. Maybe she wore that because she thinks she looks good. Maybe she wore
Yeah.
that because she feels good and confident and powerful.
I love that you just brought that up because like that's an honestly great explanation of how this is perpetuating rape culture, because they are looking because she's wearing that. So it's the idea that, like, oh my gosh, since she's wearing these types of clothes, I can look at her and make comments about her
Yeah.
and
that
ogle
means
her
she
like
wanted
this. Yes.
Because she wouldn't have done this if she didn't want it.
Exactly. Which,
Like-
obviously that's not true. Obviously that's very toxic thinking that they purposely put her in that outfit
Yeah.
to be like, so since she's dressed like this, it's okay that
It's
they're
okay
looking.
that I can stare.
So that means that translates into, well, everyone who's watching, guys who are watching, if you see a girl dressed like this in real life, then that means you can stare.
Yeah.
That means she wanted it. She wanted you to
my
stare.
We're losing light. Oh my god. We're redoing
Please
the
don't
80s.
fall off, right?
Yeah. Okay. Chloe almost knocked me onto the ground.
I thought I was gonna lose.
That was the most the bench has moved.
Next is what we all have grown up on.
Yes. 80s movies.
80s movies.
Oh.
Very problematic genre.
We've grown up on them through our parents.
Mainly our parents.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think 80s movies were just so either blasé about how they portrayed aspects of rape culture, or just very much like did not even like care about
No,
trying
did not
to
care.
hide
At
them.
all.
They didn't take it seriously. They found it comedic. It's just very problematic, as you are about to see and hear.
This is the
Especially-
clip that you provided.
Yeah, so I provided this clip because even when I watched this back when I was probably, I don't know, like just barely teenager, when my mom was like, I think you're old enough to watch these movies now, because she watched all the 80s movies and loved them, of course, as most of our parents probably do, and as most of us probably were taught to do. This is 16 Candles. Even when I watched it, I had issues with it back then, and now that I know all I do with women's gender studies, rape culture, I have even more issues with it than probably any other movie that we have talked about, and that is saying something.
That is saying
if
something.
you would not mind.
Nerd Ted constantly harasses Sam throughout the movie.
Come on, what's the problem here? I'm a boy. You're a girl. Is there anything wrong with me trying to put together some kind of relationship between us?
On the bus, in a car, wherever he can try to put the moves on her, he does, even if she makes it clear she's not interested. And what's even worse than that is the way Jake Ryan, the supposed dreamboat of the whole movie, treats the idea of assault against his girlfriend Caroline with such a blithe attitude.
Get a piece of anytime I want. I got Caroline in the bedroom right now, passed out cold. I could violate her 10 different ways if I wanted to.
Not only does he give her the cold shoulder just because another girl has shown interest in him, but he even encourages the desperate freshman Ted to take her home because he's trying to step out on her with Sam and predicts she'll be too drunk to tell them apart anyway.
Jake, I'm only a freshman.
So she's so blunt, she won't know the difference.
So, yeah, he's basically setting his own girlfriend up to be molested.
So obviously
Obviously.
very problematic. I don't even know where to start. First, we have the character of the geek like freshman who
Oh my god. Isn't he like supposed to
continually-
be her friend too?
Yeah, he continually harasses Sam, Molly Ringwald, and even when she says like, no, basically stop bothering me, I don't want you doing this,
Yeah.
he keeps on doing it
Yeah.
because he's like, oh well, like I'm a boy, you're a girl, what else are we supposed
And
to do?
then
I have
what
this,
else
I
are
have
we
this
supposed
right.
to do?
And then right after the scene where he like tries to like assault her in the car, like he is climbing on top of her to kiss her, and she's like elbowing him away. She like sits down beside him in the car, and she's like, "Oh, it's okay. I know you just
Oh my
wanted
god.
your reputation to improve."
It's almost like they have this like very bad scene of like harassment, which is part of rape culture, and then they kind of gloss over it, and she's like, it's
They really
okay.
do.
So what message does that send if you try to do that? If a guy tries to do that with you, you're supposed to, that's movies telling you, oh,
No big
like
deal.
you should just pass it off as him
Yeah.
wanting to improve his reputation, him wanting to whatever. The supposed dreamboat of this movie, who
Pawns
Sam
off
ends
his
up
girlfriend.
with, has this cheerleader girlfriend who he basically treats like an object that he can like trade off to anyone that he wants. So
Yeah.
he basically pawns her off because now he's in love with like, you know, like the less cool girl that they end up happily together in the end. So he passes off his girlfriend who's drunk and who thinks she's going to be sleeping with her boyfriend to this freshman who already tried to pull moves and harassed Sam,
And she
basically
said no.
basically the boyfriend tells this like geeky character like, oh well, she thinks it's me, so like go ahead and do whatever you want with her because she thinks it's me. like, holy crap. And they pass it off as something that's comedic. They pass it off as something that's okay to do. And it's like so funny that she's like drunk out of her mind and thinks she's sleeping with someone else, and they do sleep together. And just the fact that his comments of like, I could basically like do whatever I want to her, like 10 different ways because she's my girlfriend. That's the implied.
Yeah, it's because I own her.
Yeah.
I own her. It's because she's my girlfriend. You know, that way I can do whatever I want with her. It doesn't matter if she's drunk. It doesn't matter if she can't consent. It doesn't matter any of that because we already have an established relationship.
Exactly. And
That's the most explicit example.
Yeah, example of rape culture being perpetuated.
Location change number 3. This keeps you engaged. All the different location changes. Next is going to be Euphoria, which is the newest thing that I think we're bringing into this. We're going to talk about Jules, which is a trans character going to this high school, and she had a little implication with Nate's dad.
And then she runs into other issues later in the series.
And by the way, she's underage.
Yeah, she's underage, runs into other issues. I think like something happens with like explicit pictures of her getting out, all of this.
All of this, she is underage. This is Jules interacting with Nate's dad after they had previously slept together at a hotel.
Oh my fucking god.
What?
That's him.
Who?
The guy.
What guy?
The one from the motel.
Okay, what guy are we looking at?
Okay, the one in the apron serving the chili. I swear to God.
No fucking way. Jules, do you know who that is?
Yeah, the guy from the motel.
It's Cal Jacobs.
Who's that?
Nate Jacobs' dad.
That's Nate's dad?
That's Nate's dad.
No fucking way!
Fucking way. You're full of shit.
No way!
You're full of shit. Do you know who he is? He fucking owns half this town. He built it. All the apartment buildings past Kemper, they're his.
Bro, I
There's
swear
no
to God, that's the guy I fucked.
Bullshit.
I'm being 100% serious.
So, first of all, I feel like a good thing that they kind of work in there that's not super explicit is obviously like the age difference, but also the power.
Oh, yeah, the power
difference. She's going to this high school.
I'm
not sure if
she is a trans character
but...
that does bring up the point in throughout the series that sex and relationships are different for her, and they show her going after these older men because
that's what she's been taught.
That's how she should feel.
Yeah, she's been taught that that's all basically she deserves on the relationship aspect. That because of her identity, that she basically doesn't deserve
to be with people either her own age or just with people in general.
Literally, he owns half the town.
Yes.
Yeah, so
that's
like,
another big
definitely
thing.
Power imbalance is a big thing because like she's a minority high school student. She's not even like a
high school student. And I think that's such a smart, not necessarily smart dynamic to play, but like, you know what I mean? Because it's showing that like we said, because she is a trans woman, she feels that she can't really get like a normal relationship or a healthy relationship almost, or one that like she's going to be valued almost. So the fact that, he's willing to do this but he's powerful, so he has power over her. I don't know, to me that just...
Yeah.
It definitely is obviously a commentary on that kind of relationship, but also kind of perpetuates the idea of like, well, this is what a trans female should expect. Yeah. This is all she can get.
Like, it kind of plays it as normal, like this.
Yeah. It throughout the show Euphoria, it does play on sexual harassment, underage abuse. Sex, that is normal and it's normalized. It goes throughout your high school experience, which it shouldn't.
I do think it was probably meant to be it's definitely a lot larger of a concept, like the entire show. It's meant to be almost, I feel like, a social commentary. Yeah. Like this actually happens in real life, but it also definitely almost works against probably what its point was, to showcase that this happens as being like, well, since this happens, this is normal, so it should keep happening because this is how society works. That can definitely be really problematic if you get someone who doesn't really understand what they're trying to do or what they're trying to say, and they see this portrayed and they're like, oh, this is what a trans female gets from a relationship, this is what she expects from a relationship, this is what I would have to put in if I were in a relationship with a trans female. So,
and they sort of, the issue that I have is they sort of put it as a normal part of growing up.
Yeah,
and no one really makes it, feel like it's a wrong thing to be sleeping with an older man as an underage girl. She did lie about her age,
but she's also
she's
40.
also under,
he's like 40, right? Or plus 40 years old, probably.
Yeah,
do much better with representation next time.
Yeah.
And again, not saying you have to hate this show, just maybe
think
ask
about
the
it. Yeah.
questions. Maybe think about the media that you're watching and
yeah,
just ask the questions.
I think that's mainly the main thing. We're not telling you to hate shows that you like just because we're kind of pointing out troubling aspects in them, because to be quite honest, you could do that with any single piece of media because it's so ingrained within our society and in our minds to just include it. But just start becoming more aware of it, become more media literate about it. Worked on. I just wanted to comment on, I was really glad that we had Euphoria as an example, because I don't know about either of you guys, but I haven't seen
good representation
of diverse characters.
There's a big thing in diverse characters right now where it's still, I don't think people care. They're like, oh yeah, it's a diverse character, but it's also the type of representation you're putting out there, whether it can be harmful, such as stereotypical representation of the LGBTQ community, stereotypical representation of racial communities, different cultures. There's so many points of representation where it doesn't even matter. It has no effect.
Yeah, I think I actually, when we did our mini project, I kind of talked about just in media as a whole with rape culture, but I remember saying how I think honestly the way to start with this, the root way to start with eradicating the issues that we see in film and media of perpetuating rape culture is to start with educating people, start with education of the public.
It doesn't have to be an attack. It does not, we're not telling you to hate all of the media we just brought up. Just think about it. Maybe ask some questions. Maybe don't take everything at face value.
Yeah, because if you educate people, they become aware of the issues. If they become aware of the issues, they see it more in the media they're watching, in the film they're watching, and if they see it more, they're going to start to raise more questions. And hopefully enough people will start to raise questions that we actually see change.
Agreed.
Okay, so that has been the end of our 3-location project.
Hey, our 3-location presentation.
But I hope everyone enjoyed that. I don't know if this part's gonna be Chip's thoughts or not, but Amanda, if you're watching this, I really hope you like this.
Bye. Thanks for the great semester.
You were a great professor. We learned all this because of you.
Truly.
Thank you.